There's a lot of things that can wreck your chances to do well in life. We live in a rather dangerous world, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually too. So you've got to be not only wise, you've got to be careful. Because the truth is, attitude diseases are deadly. They don't show up on medical charts, but they can destroy everything good you've started. So today, let's go through what I call the 7 deadly attitude diseases, how to spot them, how to cure them, and how to keep your mind clean and ready for opportunity. And believe me, I'm a pro on these because I've had them all. So when I tell you how dangerous they are, I'm not reading from a book, I'm talking from battle experience. Indifference, the first disease. The shrug of the shoulder, the whatever attitude. The person who just doesn't care, he says, it doesn't really matter, but it does matter. Everything matters, especially the small things that build your habits and character. The indifferent man drifts through life. He doesn't plan his week. He doesn't study his craft. He doesn't set goals. He just drifts. And there's only one problem with drifting. You can't drift to the top of the mountain. The person who says, I can't see getting all worked up about it, will never reach excellence because excellence requires energy. To win in any field, you've got to get a little worked up. You've got to care enough to sweat, to learn, to show up. The key to the good life is simple. Put everything you've got into everything you do. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. If you're sweeping floors, sweep like you're Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. If you're selling a product, sell it like it's the greatest invention on earth. Now, some people live in the delusion that if they had a better job, they'd really pour it on. But that's not true. The person who doesn't give his best where he is now won't give his best when he arrives. Success doesn't start when you get there. It starts with what you do here. So wherever you are, pour it on. Give everything. Life rewards energy and commitment, not excuses and indifference. The cure for indifference is enthusiasm. You can't just wait to feel it. You've got to generate it. Wake up every morning and remind yourself this day counts, because it does. The next attitude disease is indecision. You've met people like this. They live on the fence, never quite choosing a side. They analyze and analyze and analyze until life passes them by. Indecision is a silent thief. It robs you of time, energy, confidence, and eventually opportunity. The man says, well, I know I'm sitting on the fence, but what if I get off on the wrong side? Listen, after a while, it doesn't matter. Just get off. Any side will do, because progress starts with movement. The best way to live is one way or the other. Pick a direction. Then go at it with everything you've got, someone says. But what if it's the wrong direction? You'll find out faster. And that's the point, because a life full of adventure is a life full of decisions. The ones that turn out wrong give you wisdom. The ones that turn out right give you confidence. Both are valuable. So don't ask, how many decisions can I avoid? Ask, how many can I get into? Because that's where the learning is. You see, progress loves momentum. The world opens its doors to those who move. The person who never decides lives in a fog. They wake every morning wondering, should I? Shouldn't I? And waste all their emotional energy debating life instead of living it. I've met talented people, intelligent people, people with more gifts than they realize, but they never rise above average because they can't decide. They want to start a business, but they wait for the perfect time. They want to take a risk, but they're afraid of failing. And so the years go by, and life quietly closes the door. Here's the truth. You don't need perfect clarity to start. You need the courage to commit. A ship doesn't wait for calm seas before leaving port. It sails, adjusts its course as it goes, and reaches destinations that the dock dwellers only dream about. So shake off the disease of indecision. Make a plan, make a move, and learn as you go. Because the best way to predict your future is to start creating it today. Now here's another disease, one that creeps in quietly and steals your energy from the inside out: doubt. There are two kinds of doubt, self-doubt and doubt in others. Both are deadly, but the first one, that's the big one. See, self-doubt is a whisper that says, I'm not enough. It tells you, I'm not smart enough, not lucky enough, not worthy enough. And if you let it speak long enough, it becomes your truth. But here's what you've got to remember: you are not born with doubt. You're taught it. Somewhere along the way, someone convinced you that you couldn't. And the worst part is, doubt doesn't just make you hesitate. It makes you quit before you even begin. It freezes the mind, paralyzes the will, keeps your potential locked behind invisible bars. That's why you've got to treat doubt like an enemy. Don't negotiate with it. Don't reason with it. Starve it. Feed your faith and your doubts will starve to death. Now, does that mean you'll never feel doubt again? No. It just means you'll stop obeying it. Everyone has doubt. The difference is that successful people act in spite of it. They say, I don't know how I'll do it, but I'll figure it out. And that's the key. Faith isn't knowing everything. It's trusting yourself to learn on the way. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. Because life never gives you total certainty. So stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if it does? When you live by faith in your own effort, something remarkable happens. Life starts cooperating with your courage. Doors open, people appear, opportunities align, not because magic happens, but because you moved. So fight your doubt daily. Strengthen your confidence through action. Because action is the antidote to fear. Don't just think stronger, act stronger. And pretty soon your mind will catch up. Next disease, worry. Now, worry is a misuse of the imagination. It's like paying interest on a debt you don't even owe. It's creative energy turned negative. People think worry shows they care, but it doesn't. Worry is just fear rehearsed over and over again in the theater of your mind. It's mental torture disguised as being responsible. A worry doesn't change the future. It only ruins the present. It burns your time, your focus, your peace of mind, and gives you nothing in return. The truth is, worrying about tomorrow only steals the strength you need for today. If you're going to use your imagination, use it to picture success, not disaster. Picture things working out, not falling apart. When you visualize problems, your body tenses up, your decisions weaken, and you attract the very things you fear. But when you visualize progress, your confidence rises, and your actions follow that vision. Now, I'm not saying ignore reality. I'm saying don't live inside your fears. Face your problems, prepare wisely, but then release them. Let tomorrow worry about itself. You do your best today, and life has a way of working out for those who stay calm, prepared, and faithful. And remember, most of the things you worry about never happen, and the few that do, you'll handle them when they come, just like you always have. So why suffer twice? The cure for worry is discipline, the discipline of thought. Catch yourself when you spiral. Replace what if I fail with what if I fly. Replace what if they reject me with what if they respect me for trying. Train your mind to expect good outcomes, because the world tends to deliver to you what your mind believes you deserve. Here's another one that looks innocent, but kills dreams slowly over caution. Now, caution itself is a good thing. You should look before you leap. But some people, they look and look and look until the opportunity's gone. Overcaution is the fear of failure disguised as logic. It's the person who says, well, I'm just being careful. But what they really mean is, I'm scared. You'll hear them say, what if it doesn't work? What if I lose? What if people laugh? Let me tell you something, the bigger risk is doing nothing. You can't steal second base with your foot still on first. And you can't grow if you never stretch. You see, success is always hiding on the other side of risk. Life was never meant to be lived fully inside your comfort zone. If you only play defense, you'll never score. Now, I'm not talking about being reckless. I'm talking about being bold with wisdom. It means planning carefully, and then acting with courage. It means doing your homework, and then trusting your instincts. Because the person who's always overcautious ends up broke, lonely, or stuck. Not because life was unfair, but because fear told them to wait. And waiting too long is its own kind of failure. You can't discover new oceans if you're afraid to lose sight of the shore. So when opportunity knocks, don't say, let me think about it for 6 months. You've got to grab it before it walks to someone else's door. Here's the truth, mistakes are tuition in the school of success. You'll pay either way, through action or inaction, but one gives you growth, the other gives you regret. So be cautious, yes, but not so cautious that you never live. Remember, the door of success opens inward. You've got to push. Here's number 6, and this one's dangerous because it sounds so reasonable. It's pessimism, the habit of seeing only what's wrong. Now, pessimism is not realism. Realism looks at facts and builds a plan. Pessimism looks at facts and builds a funeral. The pessimist always has a reason, and that's the problem. They can tell you exactly why it won't work, why it's too hard, why it's too late. And they sound smart because they've studied failure longer than anyone else. But here's the truth, no one ever built a monument to a critic. You don't see statues in parks honoring people who said, it can't be done. The world moves forward because of those who believe, not blindly, but bravely. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to focus on the part of reality that gives you power. See, a pessimist says, what if I lose everything? An optimist says, what if I learn something? The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist adjusts the sails. And if you hang around negative thinkers long enough, you start catching their language and then their limits. Their words become your walls. So, guard your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Read uplifting material. Listen to voices that challenge you to grow. Spend time with people who talk about visions, not just victims. You can't have a positive life with a negative mouth. And you can't create tomorrow's opportunity with yesterday's attitude. Now, does that mean everything's always good? No. But it means you stay good even when things aren't. It means you keep your spirit intact, your hope alive, your effort steady. Because pessimism feeds on passivity, but faith grows through movement. So every time that dark cloud of negativity starts to form, remember this: you control the weather inside your own mind. Don't wait for the sun. Be the sun. And now for the last one, number 7, complaining. This one doesn't just damage success, it destroys character. Because complaining is the language of defeat. When you complain, you give up your power to change. You tell the world, I'm a victim, not a creator. And the longer you talk like a victim, the more your life begins to match your words. Jim used to say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Because complaining is easy, growth is hard. And every minute you spend blaming others is a minute stolen from building yourself. People complain about everything. The weather, their job, their boss, the government, their luck. But complaining doesn't make rain stop or luck change, it just weakens your spirit. The cure for complaining is gratitude. You can't be thankful and bitter at the same time. One emotion drives the other out. Start counting what's working, and you'll find more things that work. Start appreciating small victories, and soon life will give you bigger ones. If you're tempted to complain, stop and ask, what's my responsibility here? What can I fix? What can I learn? That's how winners think. They look for control inside chaos. They turn pain into progress, not paragraphs of excuses. And remember this, people who complain attract others who complain, and together they form what I call a losing team. You can't grow in an environment that feeds on misery. If you have to, walk alone, but walk forward. Every time you feel like complaining, choose discipline instead. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Responsibility and growth. So those are the 7 silent killers of success. 1, indifference. 2, indecision. 3, doubt. 4, worry. 5, overcaution. 6, pessimism. 7, they don't strike all at once. They creep in quietly. They start small, like little leaks in the roof. You say, oh, it's just one day, I don't care. Or, just one time, I'll skip the decision. But small leaks sink big ships. That's why awareness is everything. The moment you name the disease, you can cure it. You fight indifference with purpose. You fight indecision with action. You fight doubt with belief. You fight worry with preparation. You fight overcaution with courage. You fight pessimism with vision. And you fight complaining with gratitude. You can't remove these from the world, but you can remove them from yourself. And that's where freedom starts. Jim used to say, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Because the stronger you become, the smaller your problems feel. Life doesn't get easier, you get better. Success isn't built in one day, it's built daily, in the small disciplines, in the quiet choices, in the private moments when no one's watching but your conscience. So keep these 7 lessons close. Review them, reflect on them, and if you ever catch one creeping back in, smile, because now you know its name. And once you know its name, it can't control you anymore. That's how growth begins. That's how success stays alive, and that's how legacies, like Jim Rohn's, continue to teach generations long after the voice has gone silent. Don't let the small diseases destroy your big dreams. Take responsibility, grow your attitude, and the world will open its doors to you.